Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining me today. I'm so excited to see you and really glad that we are at the end of our four-part series. I hope that you've enjoyed it and you have gotten some value. Um, yeah. Today we are rounding up with the last part where I'm going to be giving you a sneak peek into the online course, the purpose-driven online course. All right, so I'm going to go straight ahead and I'm going to start sharing my screen so that you can see what we are doing today. While I'm getting set, let me know if you can see me and if you can hear me. My audio, my video, yeah, just let me know. And if you can see me on your page, I want to be sure that I'm clear and everything is working well, okay? So go ahead, drop in the chat where you're watching from. Let me know if you've watched part 1, 2, 3, and 4. Just drop that in the chat. Just write 1, 2, 3, 4. And if you've watched only maybe part 1, part 2, just drop that in the chat and let me know. And this is a perfect time to really ask all the questions, that you've had from all the previous sessions that we have had. Go ahead, drop them in the chat and then just let me know. All right. So sharing my screen now so we can get started. I want to dive into it. As usual, I always look out for maybe questions that you will have that we can have a discussion towards the towards the end and all of that. So do well to just drop your questions in the chat or either as I'm speaking or whenever I end so that we can have a lively discussion as we end this. Okay. So yeah, I'm sharing my screen. Can you see me? Can you see the screen? I'm somewhere hidden. Let me know if you can see the screen. And I'm just going to take a pause and all right, let me know if you can see my screen. I think I'm sharing the wrong screen, am I? I think so. It looks like I'm sharing the wrong screen. I apologize. It looks like I'm sharing the green page. Sorry about that. So I'm going to go back and share the correct screen. All right, so this is what you should be seeing. I sincerely apologize for that mix up. All right. So once again, thank you so much for coming to the fourth part of our live training series. We tagged the series Amplifying Your God Message, and like I said, if you've watched, go ahead and drop the parts that you have watched in the chat. Today, we are going to be taking a sneak peek inside our purpose-driven platform course. So I've said again and again that it's important for you to have a platform. It's important for you to have, your own space, your own digital real estate where you can call your own, where you can do what you like, you know, where you can share your strong message, where you can control. If you remember when we're talking about the 7 hills of influence, one of the things we said was that the media is controlling a lot of things. And that's because the people who own the media houses have a right to, well, maybe not the right, but they have control so they can do what they like. And so that's the biggest thing about having your own platform. The biggest thing is that you get to share. I'm going to tell you something that actually drove me to starting my business when I did and why I was not opposed to having it online. It was because one of the things Scott said was, I need a platform. I need somewhere that I can speak through you to the people, that are around you. And when he said platform, at that time, I was really far from anything platform, but I I was able to like think, and I was able to come up well with massive help from the Holy Spirit. I was able to put together an idea that had never been born before. My idea was like totally brand new. And so I want to encourage you at this point that that thing you're thinking, or maybe that thing you're not even thinking, God has it. If you're already thinking it, He has it. Either He can refine it for you, or He helps you to move it forward, or all you even have is just your passion. He can give you something. He can create a blueprint for you, And so, because God is not going to come down and sit with you at a table to do certain things, that is one of the reasons why He has people like me, come up with courses, with master classes, with sometimes they are your preachers, they are teachers, they are pastors, they are ministers, and they put these ideas in your head and they share their stories, they share the things they have learned, and stuff like that, so that you have that knowledge to confidently move forward, so that when you build it, God can use it. A lot of the times we say Nimrod was building Babylon because he was reaching up to the heavens. But the truth is that, well, one of the reasons I feel God was not entirely happy with what Nimrod was doing was because he was not doing it for God's sake. He was not doing it for the sake of the kingdom. He was doing it for his ego. He was doing it for his pride, and so God had to put a stop to it. And so imagine if God has a series of platforms that He can choose from, before you know it, the word of God, the knowledge of the Lord will totally flood the earth as the waters cover, So I want to encourage you that it's important for you to map your message to your movement. It's important for you to think about having a platform, and not just a half-hearted platform. You post here, you don't post here. What you're even called has nothing to do with sometimes the message that you're sharing, on your platform. So my big idea for this course is that it becomes your blueprint for lasting impact, because we want to start from the ground up, from the foundation, so that, once the foundation is well, as an architect, I can tell you that once the foundation is strong and it's well done and it's fit for purpose, you build a foundation that is good for a skyscraper that I know, because once you partner with God, you are not building a small thing. You're building a big thing that will go up high, and He will draw people to Himself. He's eternal. Whatever platform God gives you is eternal. And so that's why it's important to build it the right way. It's also important to have a message, that that can carry that eternal weight, So this is, for me, this is the climax of the 4-part series. This is a climax because of everything that you've done. If you've learned about messaging, we've talked about the ethics, we've talked about so many things. But if you don't have the platform, then all of that doesn't really come into play. Okay. All right. So my name is Miriam Galadima-Benson, and I'm laughing because Shai put in visionary leader. I wouldn't call myself that. I think above all, I'll just call myself someone who is willing to hear, someone who is willing to obey, someone who is willing to do, So I am a regular person like you who has a deep desire and a passion, for what I do. And what I do is I want to live for God, What I do is to live for Christ. That's really what I do. And in that doing, He has given me a message. He has given me a job to do. He has given me ideas. He has given me something for my hands to do. And so that's really what I do. Every other thing, I think, is outside of this main thing that I do. At every point, the critical thing is the obedience. The critical thing for me is not, oh, servant of God, or, owner of businesses or what. The critical thing at every point for me personally is that I'm living in obedience, and I'm listening, and I'm willing to crucify myself every day, and make myself a living sacrifice. All right. So far we've explored the power of God, the God idea, and the essential tech tools. Like I said when we were talking about the tech tools the last time, that's the one thing that trips you up. All you can do is post. And sometimes that's good enough. It takes you to so far. When you just post on your platform, it takes you so far. But there's so many things you can do that takes you even yet far. And if you know anything about God, you know he's the God of a place called forward. You always have to move forward. And so that's what this platform wants to equip you to do, to take you to that place called forward, to keep moving you beyond my social media platforms are successful. I have Instagram followers, I have Facebook followers, I get likes on my posts. Beyond that, there's so much more. That's what this course is about. So Archie Builds Legacy is our mission, our objective is to power women like me, women who just have that passion, women who feel I have something to say. God is saying something to me and I have something to say. I have the work of my hands. I have something to say. We want you to build online platforms that will amplify your message and your impact with clarity. That's so important. You have to be clear. We talked about that, I think, in the first session. You have to be clear. And the only way you can be confident is if you have an idea. You have an idea of what you're doing and you have the confidence and the certainty that God is with you. You have the skills, you have the know-how. They call it technical know-how of being in the online space and being a digital person, and you have a purpose that you want to share across the world. So here I'm going to open the window to the course, open the window to the idea in my heart. I want to share that with you so that when you sign up for the course, this is what you're getting. All right. So first, what does mapping your message to your movement truly mean? Let's explore that. It just means moving beyond random posts or a pretty website. So when I first started She Builds Legacy, I just had a pretty website. I had not mapped my message. I was still working to articulate my message, so that I could can somebody close that door, please? There's so much noise coming from there. Thank you. It's about intentionally connecting your core God-given message to a strategic path that gathers, inspires, mobilizes your audience into a vibrant community. People will always follow a beacon. And that when you think about a beacon that is in the sea, it gives off light. She is blinking, or it's a steady light and people can see it. And if they're at sea, they know, oh, there's something happening there. So they come to that beacon is giving its message. And so it's drawing ships to itself. And so that's what your online presence should be. It should be a beacon so that whoever God has assigned to you, they hear that message. They are drawn to you. Everybody is not for you, but there are people that are for you. You have to build your presence. You have to set up your presence. All right. So it's not about just being present, but it's about power. It's about purposeful influence. And all of that, as far as I'm concerned, is just centered around what God says to you, the message that he gives you, and your ability to broadcast that message so that people can see and hear. Okay? So we want you to refine your God idea. I know a lot of us already have what we want to do, and we have what we want to do. Sometimes we are sure of what our message is. Sometimes we are not quite sure. Sometimes we need validation. And sometimes we're sure, but the crafting of the message is not solid. It lacks maybe clarity, or it lacks certain details that make someone wonder, I'm not so sure. So that's what module 1 is doing. Module 1, we're going to break down where we are. We're going to break down from where we are, and it doesn't matter where we are. Once we get to module 1, we're all going to go on the same level playing ground. We're all going to go back to ground zero. Even me, I'm going to take a look at my message for both Quilt Africa and She Builds Legacy, and we are going to refine it. We're going to look at it again through the lens of God's, through the lens of God, so that we are sure that we have captured everything that He wants us to capture. We want it from whisper to raw. So module 1 has 2 purposes. 1, to refine, to make sure that you're saying what you ought to be saying. And when you are confident about what you want to say, then you have the confidence, to like really put your voice behind it, like, speak it out. Yeah. So refining your God idea. We don't want your idea to be abstract or too big. We want you to use the correct language. We want it distilled. So that, they say you should put it in such a way that even a child can understand it. So that's what we want to do. We want to clarify it to its core, understand its unique positioning, its unique, the person it's speaking to, and make sure that that person it's speaking to can understand what you're saying. My message in my business is to quilters. So I always have to make sure that everything I talk about is unique to quilters. They can understand what I'm saying. I'm not speaking to fashion designers. So if I'm speaking as a quilter and fashion designers understand me more than quilters, then there's something fundamentally wrong with my messaging. So I hope you understand it. Every time you're not attracting the right crowd to your products, to your platform, to your service, then it means that there's likely something also wrong with your messaging. It could be other things, but it also means that your messaging needs some work. So we want to ask ourselves questions that will lead us into introspection. We'll be having guided exercises. We're going to really dig deep. And, with my direct coaching through the program, you want to articulate your mission with focus, intention, so that it gives you the confidence and the boldness to speak that message out loud for everybody to hear and command the attention of those whom you are called to. So if you think about the early ideas, they had their God idea. That was the gospel, to be witnesses of Jesus Christ. It wasn't a general idea, and they had to refine it for different audiences and contexts while not losing the core, which is Jesus Christ has come to save the world. He has been crucified, he resurrected, and he has ascended into heaven. And if you look at Peter's message on the Pentecost in the book of Acts, you'll see that he stuck to the basic message. He didn't do much, but then you can see that he had 3,000 people come to Christ on that day. It wasn't vague. It was precise and powerful. He went back to the Old Testament. He started a journey. He journeyed from the Old Testament and he took people through, and it ended up in Jesus Christ. So same thing with any kind of business you're doing. It doesn't matter the sector or the sphere of influence, or the mountain. It doesn't matter where you are. You have to make sure that you're simply hitting the points that you want to hit. You want to hit. And the advantage you have as a Christian is when you invite the Holy Spirit in, he breathes on it, and then you take it forth in power. And at this point, I want you to understand that everybody who has a large platform, there's a spirit behind what they're saying. And that's why you see some people go so big and they attend a certain kind of crowd and their message is a certain kind of message. If anything at all, in this last months, this year, last year, we have seen that there's a spirit behind their message, spirit behind songs. When we were younger, they used to tell us, stop listening to this kind of songs. There's a spirit behind it. But with P. Diddy's case, you have now actually seen that there's actually a spirit behind it. It's not just talk. So you want to be sure that the way you position your message is the right way that God wants, so that he can put his own weight behind it. And that's what will lead to this level of conversion that we're talking about. And remember that Peter's journey to this 3,000 conversions wasn't on the day of Pentecost. Remember when Christ called him and he sent him out 2 by 2. Jesus sent them twice. So there was a building, many questions, many parables, journeys to Capernaum, journeys to Galilee, journeys to Jerusalem, spending time with Jesus Christ. All of these incidences was his learning period, 3 years before he got to 3,000 conversions. So I also want you to know that crafting your message and having that sort of impact takes time. You craft your message over time. Your message doesn't come to you perfect from the get-go, okay? That's when it becomes clearer, the precision becomes sharp, and then the power of God is able to burst forth, and it's able to convert for you. And it doesn't matter whether it's a conversion of your business, into sales, or conversion of the souls of men, or conversions of people reading your books, or conversion of people donating to your cause, or the conversion of people signing up for your service. It doesn't matter. Once you get your message right, then, God is able to do what he wants to do. So at this point, I hope that you have the workbook. One thing you can do is write down your God idea as a single clear sentence. And you have to make sure that in that sentence, the problem you are addressing is identifiable. Whoever is reading it can say, this is what you're saying. This is what you will help me to do. And then who, you also have to say the who. Who is your solution for? You should know the problem you're looking to solve. You should know who you are looking to solve the problem for. So I want you to work on it and keep refining your God idea until you can get it in a single sentence, the shortest possible single sentence, and it has all of that. Sometimes that is called an elevator pitch. Can you talk about your business in a minute or two? And you give all the concise points in a way that will convince somebody, to cast their lot with you. Now we want to talk about fine-tuning your message in module 2. Module 1, we have talked about your God idea, refining your God idea. In module 2, we're going to be talking about your messaging. I've talked about a bit of that already, but once you have your God idea refined, you have that clarity that you're looking for. The next thing is, how do you begin to dispense that clarity, dispense that God idea? How do you begin to speak it in such a way that people buy into it? Buying into your idea is really, really important, because that's what's going to build your platform and turn it into a tool of influence. If people are not convinced about your God idea, and you are not articulating it and expressing it in such a way that people kind of like understand it, then it's not going to attract anybody to your platform. Your voice, your message, the words you use, the construction, of your message, it has to speak directly to the hearts and minds of your ideal audience, the people that God has called you to. It has to be clear. It has to be a consistent message. You can't talk about this today and then talk about something totally different. And then you have to speak in your authentic voice. I think the most captivating voice is your authentic voice. That should build trust. It should build connection. Okay? So while we are diving into crafting your unique value proposition, your value proposition is that unique thing that you provide it in such a way that nobody else does, in your own unique way. Sometimes you see there's so many supermarkets, right? Let me just take an example of supermarkets, not even the smaller ones, but you're looking at, maybe say in Abuja, you're thinking ShopRite, you're thinking Prince Eban, or you're thinking Next, you're thinking Market Square, you're thinking Spa, you're thinking those they all have a unique selling point. They have a unique value that they're bringing to um um sorry about that. um yeah, sorry. So everybody has their own unique value proposition, developing your signature story. Your signature story is your true story. Your true story from the angle that positions your platform the best. That positions you the best, positions your story the best, positions your platform the best. So you go ahead and you just refine that, you develop it, you refine it, and then you create lead magnets. Lead magnets are what your audience wants, that you can provide for them as value, to draw them into your community. So it's not just about what you say, but it's the strategies, the little strategies that you have to use to ensure that you catch people's attention. Sometimes somebody can be for you, but because you don't have their attention, they just go ahead and they might miss you, you might miss them. So there are certain strategies that you have to do to draw the likely people who will be drawn to you, sorry, I'm having problems with my team. We're having a bit of miscommunication. I apologize. Okay. So your message shouldn't be scattered or confusing. Otherwise, it will fail to take root. It has to try and hit, the core of the experiences that your ideal audience is having. So you think of your ideal person and then you craft your language as though you were talking to them. What are their top 3 struggles related to your God idea? So these are questions that you're going to ask yourself. What are the top 3 struggles that anybody who you are sent to with your God idea, what are the 3 struggles that they have? You can address all of that in your messaging. You break it down, you give them strategies, you help them to overcome. And then that's how you begin to think of both the person that you are serving. When you think of the person you're serving, it helps your messaging, because when you think about them, if for instance your audience are children, you're going to use a language that will appeal to the parents of the child, because the child cannot make decisions for themselves. So you're going to try and talk to the heart of a mother, even though your product is for a child. So you can see that it's all about positioning. It's all about trying to understand what it is that you're doing. Okay, so that's. Before we get into module 3, I want to, in what ways has your current online presence been more, okay, so I don't think I understand this question. I'll just go into module 3. All right. And that is strategically mapping your online movement, creating like the strategy of hitting your milestones. Every journey has to have a milestone. You have to have what you want to achieve. So you have to have a path that you're following. And that's all part of the strategy of starting, growing, and scaling your online platform. What we want to do is help you strategically map out your online movement where clarity and messaging will meet these strategies, so that you have lasting impact. You're not just there. You've seen so many people that they just kind of like come and then they go, but you want to be there for the long run. You want to be there for some time. So you have to make sure that you have a strategic plan in place. And as you make that plan, you're thinking of downtimes when you yourself, you're down. You're thinking of downtimes when maybe a new competitor enters into the market and your audience seem distracted. How do you keep your audience and maintain that loyalty? How do you choose the right platforms that helps you to talk authentically without having to learn too many new skills or learn too many ways of trying to get it? You also have to learn what funnels are in the first place. If I just say creating the right funnels, it's possible you don't even know what a funnel is. So you have to learn what a funnel is, learn its function, and see how you can leverage that, for whatever it is that you're doing. You build systems that work for you. Every successful business works with works with it works with systems. So you have to constantly and continually renew your systems, so that when you renew your systems and you review them and you build them, it's towards growth. It's towards serving your ideal client, so that your message reaches its intended person without I don't know if you've heard of Chinese whispers. Your message needs to reach its intended person without being what do you call it, without it losing the force of its message, so that it can cause a ripple effect that will bring about the change that you're looking for. So we're going to cover everything from building your website and landing pages. It's possible you might not know at this time what landing pages are, but we'll help you build landing pages and set up funnels, welcome funnels and sales funnels and nurture funnels. There's so many types of funnels. Creating a content calendar. In the last while I was talking about module 2, I said you have to make sure that your message is not all over the place. It has to be like a strong message. It has to be a message of focus, a focus message of clarity. So one of the easiest ways to do that is to have a content calendar where you know what you want to talk about, you break that down, all the things, you break it down, and then you know how you're going to keep posting that or sharing that by email. So it's really a step-by-step blueprint. We're going to call it a blueprint. The main objective of this course is to help you build, to help you understand first. Before you even build, we want to help you understand. We want to help you own your God idea. Sometimes it's your God idea, but you don't see yourself performing it. You know how the Israelites knew they were coming to the promised land, but they didn't own it. So when they saw people who regarded them as grasshoppers, what happened to their hearts? Their hearts dropped. They didn't own the land flowing with milk and honey. If they had owned that vision the way Caleb and Joshua did, they would have possessed the land at the right time that they were supposed to. So you may have a God idea, but you haven't owned it. And maybe that's why you're not making much of a progress, because you're thinking, oh my God, can I do this? Oh my God, the work is so much. Can I cope? You're thinking all sorts of things. You have not owned it to say, yes, I know it's going to be difficult, but I believe that by the grace of God, I can do this. Or I don't even know, but I'm going to give it my all. So you need to have that mindset where you own it. You have to own it. So that's what we want to do. We start from you owning your God idea. We start from you thinking of how to express that God idea as who you are, not as who somebody else is, not as who the communications coach or communications expert says it should be. It has to be in your own voice, with your own experience, with who you are. You have to quote it in who you are, because people want you. They don't really, you are your message. So you can't separate you from your message. If you separate you from your message, you begin to have problems. If you have a message that you are delivering the way I deliver, you're going to have a problem. If I deliver my message the way somebody I admire delivers, I'm going to run into problems. So it's a blueprint from that mindset, you want to start. From that visionary phase, you want to start till you get to the practical steps. So it's a whole blueprint from beginning to the end. That's what the course is about. Now, not only did Nehemiah have a vision, he had a vision that he wept, he was morose, he was sad, he was troubled. That's owning it. When you own something, it really troubles you. But beyond being troubled, you have to make sure that you have a plan of execution. Now, if Nehemiah was not strategic, you know what Tobias and Sanballat would have done? they would have derailed him, they would have put him into trouble, they would have sabotaged him, and at the end of the day, the walls would not have been built. So you need that same focus, that same vision, that same strategy, and strategy comes from the Holy Spirit. Strategy comes from someone who has gone before you, who has experienced it, and who knows what they need to do. Okay? So you have to even think about managing yourself, because sometimes inexperience will make you think the way you run a 100-meter race is the same way you run a 400-meter race, or the same way you run a 1,000-meter race, or 1,200 of, it's not, it's just not. The way you run a marathon is not the way you run a 100-meter dash. And so somebody who has done maybe both, or somebody who has done one, can tell you this is how you do this, and this is not how you do that. So that's what it's all about. You need a strategic blueprint. So I want you to, the one thing you can do to kind of like create a content calendar for you is we already have some ideas here. You can tag some of your content, discover me, and you share personal things about yourself. Engage with me can be resources that you have created that are useful for your audience. You share that. And then if it's join my movement, you can talk about your community, your product, something that you want to share, that is the backbone of your platform. You share that and people begin to know. And it's intentional. Everything leads to the single place of your platform and your message. So I hope that is clear. Yeah, so I think we're on time. We're sticking to time. So that is the transformative power within purpose-driven platform, because I know from my own experience and from some of your experiences that you have shared, how you have wanted to do this for a long time, how you have wanted to like just not knowing what to do, not knowing what to post, not sure if you're believable, not sure will anybody take you serious, is anybody even reading it, so but when you hear so much of people saying just trust the process, that is what the purpose-driven platform is. You just trust the process. And I think it's easier for you to trust the process because I've been there. We just came off our 3-day summit. It's an annual summit that we do, and it's all on our online platforms. We all have that on our online platforms. So to show you that you can actually come from a place of having nothing to a place of growth, to a place of doing something that you have visualized from the beginning. And the steps to do that are refining your God idea. You have to have a solid idea that makes you confident. It solves a specific problem, for a specific people, sometimes within a specific time frame. So when you refine that, and it has to be, there's so many components to your God idea. It has to be something that you love or something that you are committed to. It has to be something that you're committed to, because without commitment, that God idea will just be floating, or to be starting and stopping, starting and stopping. You have to fine tune your messaging, address your audience's struggle, address their victories, address their celebrations, address the issues that they're having, give them solutions. That's what your messaging should be about. I see you, I know what you're going through, and I can help you with whatever you're going through. So that should be a kind, and for some things that you do, it's kind of hard to articulate. It's easy if it's a product. I sell this bracelet. If you wear this bracelet, you look pretty. You accessorize yourself or style yourself very well. But what if you are you have something, a service that, or a product, in fact, that does not address a basic need, or does not even address, it might not even be basic, but it doesn't address something that people can easily see. If I take off my earrings now, you see that I don't have earrings. So you can come to me as a jewelry seller and say, oh, I have earrings that will really make you look so pretty and so beautiful. And we can see what the solution is. But what if you sell art? I mean, art is so subjective. The appreciation of art is so subjective. How do you begin to fine-tune a message of as an artist when you know it's not in any way it's not a basic need for anybody to hang something on their wall? So how do you message that? Or assuming you are an NGO, how do you begin to say, come and give me your money? You know, if you talk about suffering people, people are suffering everywhere. Even where I am, people are suffering. Why should I donate to your own cause? So you have to find that key messaging components that stops people and turns them to your cause, especially when it's not something that is like food. Oh, I sell rice. Everybody wants rice. Or I sell tomatoes, or I sell vegetables. People can turn towards what it is that you're doing. They can see how that will impact their lives, you know. But there are certain products and certain services that you provide that you might not be sure how you're going to say, come and buy my art with confidence when you're thinking, hey, maybe this person doesn't even have food in their house. Is it my art they'll come and buy? That's the self-sabotaging thoughts, and those are some strategies that we're going to deal with, how you're going to handle that. Okay. And then you want to make sure that your journey, your milestones, you are on a journey. You have to make sure that you have milestones that you work towards, milestones that you reach and you celebrate. You have to make sure that you also strategic, not just your own map, but you have to make sure that you strategically map out your customer experience, your ideal audience experience. How are they going to encounter you? Where do they move from having encountered you? Where are you moving them towards? So an online platform might seem like, oh, you're just posting, you're just writing blogs, you're just doing this, but no, behind it, there's a science to it. There's a lot of thoughts, and there's strategy to it. So that's what the course will do for you. All right. So um this is just a little bit of the benefits that will come to you, when you sign up for the course. We want to take you down deeper. We want to help you understand the things that you should be doing, the things that you probably need to overcome, and how to make it personal, especially hands-on. This is going to be a hands-on workshop that if you sign up for, it's going to be a hand-on course. You sign up and within 6 weeks, I guarantee you're going to be able to set up all these systems. I told you I did mine in 2 weeks. I set up my systems in 2 weeks, but I can be crazy like that, you know. So I think 6 weeks is very generous. Every week we take a model, we work it, we come back, we review, we move on to the next, so that it's a seamless step-by-step movement towards the end goal, which is to launch your online platform. So if you're ready to stop guessing, you're ready to start building, you're ready to be clear with your messaging, confident, and follow a proven strategy that works, then definitely this course is for you. We're going to launch the course on the 18th. We're going to open it up for signing. We have the course fee. It's a paying course. Who is that? Sorry. What is that about? We're going to launch the course on the 18th of July, and you can sign up for it. I know quite a number of you are on the wait list, so we're going to have the list, and we're going to do that. Okay. So is that Iman there? All right. So here's what you get inside the course. Sorry, the kids are all over the place and they are making a bit of noise that I'm finding distracting. So I apologize for breaking off like that. So like I said, it's hands-on, it's totally immersive. If you know that you're not ready for the work, please don't sign up for it. If you know that you're kind of lazy, don't sign up for it. But if you know that this is something that you've been wanting to do for a long time and you're happy to be handheld and you're happy to be, to get feedback, to be supported, then this is definitely for you. You're going to have direct access to me because there's something about feedback. There's something about somebody looking out for you that just gives you confidence, you know, especially at the point where we refine your God idea and choose your best platforms, the first foundational steps. You're going to have a lot of feedback from me, a lot of suggestions from me, so that whatever you choose is going to be your best bet, for getting it right. We're going to fine tune your message. And for me, that would mean you discovering your own voice, discovering how you want to say it. It's not about formula. It's about helping you bring out what is already in there. Your messaging, we're going to figure out the best lead magnet depending on your sector, depending on the business, or depending on your enterprise funnels and strategies, and we're going to achieve that by having live coaching calls like this. We're going to be in a Zoom call where we can see each other face to face. Someone said that there's blessing in the face. You see your faces, you see your expressions, I can read your hope. I read your confidence, I read your commitment, and your passion. And that goes a long way. When you're going to get weekly feedback, like I said, I don't want you to be lazy about it. I want you to be on top so that when you perform your task, I'm going to give you feedback. And then we're going to have a private WhatsApp community where we're going to be constantly chatting, and asking questions and getting answers and sharing snippets, with one another, with myself and the team. We're going to have templates and swipe copies and systems from our own business, from my own business, that I'm going to share with you to help you get started strong, to help you get started confident. That's so important. So you don't have to do the trial and error I did. I did a lot of trial and error, entered a lot of courses that was not really what I want for. So this initial course that we're offering is for that beginner stage. You might not be at the beginning stage, but what it is that maybe it's not validated. You're going, but you really want that feedback. Sometimes it doesn't matter how far you've gone. You actually want someone to put eyes on it and say, yes, okay, tweak here. Yeah, keep going. This is good. Tweak here. So that's what this course, is about. And so if sign up within 48 hours of the course launching, you're going to get a quick action bonus, which is a masterclass on how to craft an offer from your online platform. She Builds Legacy as a platform has been on for like 2 to 3 years, but how do you, from your passionate message, how do you turn that message into an income? That's what an offer is. How do you go from your idea to offering people to say, come and buy, that gives you income? So we're going to be talking about that, and going through steps with that. You're also going to win a strategy call with me if you want. That just jumpstarts you. It gives you an idea to say, oh, I actually already have my idea. I just want to bounce it off you so that as we go through the weeks, I have even more direction. So you can set that up with me. And then as a bonus for everybody, we're going to give you a 6 weeks content calendar where for 6 weeks, you don't have to guess what to post. We're going to tell you day 1, post this. Week 1, day 1, day 2, day 3, day 4, 5, 6, 7. Week 2, post this, and this. Week 3, post 1 to 7. Week 4, post 1 to 7. Week 5, post 1 to 7. So there's a lot that's going to go on, but it's not designed to overwhelm you. And that's why we're taking a module a week. A week is a long time. Even with life happening to you, with children, with your work schedule, with everything else that you have going on, maybe your job, a week is sufficient because you have one course where we're going, one day where we're going to learn everything. You go away with work to do, and then we come back for review and questions, so that you can implement. You implement. A week is a long time if you're committed, because say you even just spend a total of 3 hours in a week, you achieve a lot. If you commit to 3 hours in a week, you achieve a lot more than you think you will. You'll achieve a lot. we have the class, and then you commit 3 hours into doing what it is that we talked about in the module, you'll be surprised at the end of 6 weeks what you're able to achieve. Okay. So we also have a VIP offer built in, because this has been a request. So we're just building it in. What the VIP offer means is that when you sign up for the course, and maybe because of work commitment or family commitment, or whatever else commitment, you want us to set it up for you from scratch. We'll be creating your website for you, build a website for you. We'll build the landing pages that you need. For starters, we'll have a welcome flow where people that enter into your email list, the set of emails, like 3 emails that we're going to craft for you to send to them, so that you welcome them into your community, you tell them a little bit about yourself, and you find out a little bit more about them. We're also going to be sharing lead magnets with you. We are going to help you determine, what does my audience want that will make me, my platform, more attractive to them, and then we're going to give you 6 weeks of email to share. Once you have people on your email list, they've gone through your welcome flow, what are you going to be talking to them about? Oh God, emailing people weekly, what are you going to be talking about? So we'll also do that for you. So this removes that technical barrier where you don't have to sweat to find out what it is that you want to, how, that tech thing, and that maybe sometimes that overthinking, what am I writing in my email? Or Miriam is saying in the first email, I should talk about myself. Oh my God, am I not oversharing? What am I going to talk about? We take all of that. And because we would have refined your God idea, it's going to be specific to you. It's not going to be general. Whatever templates we give, for the course, we're going to now help you work on it to make it individual and personalize it for you. So I end here, and I want to say thank you for coming. I'm going to stop sharing now and see if there are any questions that have come up in the chat, so that I can respond to them. If there are no questions, I just want to share some like questions that maybe will help you to kind of get it. Okay. And I'm wondering. So first of all, I just want to ask you, your current online presence, what's your online presence now? What is it about? How is it? What does it look like? What are you doing, on your platforms? And how comfortable do you feel being on that platform? Have you refined your God idea? Those are some of the questions that you need to kind of like respond to, so don't forget to get the workbook, do your due diligence, put in some advanced work, and then see how you can answer some of those questions and begin to discover yourself, so that even if you decide not to sign up for the course, the workbooks are going to help you just move forward. You need to move forward. We all need to move forward. So go ahead and sign the workbook. And if at any time you have questions, please drop them in our Instagram or our Facebook or any of our platforms, and we will be happy to respond to you to the best of our ability. So thank you so much once again for joining. I appreciate having you join me all the time. I don't take it for granted. And remember that on the 18th, that's in 2 days' time, on Friday, we're going to launch the course in the morning. We're going to send out emails. You're already on our email list. If you're on the wait list, you're also going to get a bonus if you sign up quickly, so go ahead and do that. And I know that you're going to find amazing value, with this course. So thank you once again, and I will see you soon. Take care. Okay, awesome.